Hi, Mr. Edgar. Good afternoon. This is Jorge Alfredo Barrios Diaz from English 7. And today I'm going to talk about the chapters 4, 5, and 6 of Scott Thornsbury's book, How to Teach Speaking. These three chapters are especially important because they present the three stages for developing speaking skills. For example, awareness, appropriation, and autonomy. The chapter number 4 focuses on awareness raising activities. Thornbury explains that students sometimes have difficulties speaking because they do not know certain features of a spoken language. For example, they may not know how to change the topic, how to respond to a request, show agreement or disagreement, or use expressions that make a conversation sound more natural. So the purpose of awareness raising is to help students to notice the gaps in their knowledge instead of simply giving students a list of expressions that the teacher can encourage them to discover how language is actually used. So the main idea of chapter 4 is students first need to become aware of how spoken language works before they can use it effectively. Chapter 5 focuses on appropriation activities, which is the second stage. After students have become aware of useful language features, they need to integrate them into their own speaking ability. Thornbury describes appropriation as practice control. Students need opportunities to practice language in different ways until they become more comfortable using it. This chapter presents several activities. This includes drilling and chants, writing tasks, reading aloud, dialogues, communicative tasks, assisted performance, scaffolding, and task repetition. For example, a student might practice a dialogue with the teacher's help. They can read it, repeat important expressions, and practice pronunciation. Later, the teacher can remove some of the support, so students have to remember and produce the language themselves. Also, task repetition is important. Students can perform the same or a similar speaking task more than once, perhaps with different classmates. Each repetition can help them become more fluent and confident. And an important principle is that support to gradually be reduced. And finally, chapter 6 focuses on autonomy. This is the third stage of Thornsbury approach. The objective is for students to use language they have learned independently, spontaneously, and under real communications conditions. At this stage, students should not be depending on the teacher, a reading dialogue, or a model. They need to use their own speaking skills to communicate their own ideas. Autonomous speaking requires learners to deal with things such as spontaneity, unpredictability, planning, accuracy, and flexibility. In real conversations, we cannot always predict what another person will say, so learners need to be able to respond and to adapt to different real situations. Thank you so much for your attention.